Hello, everyone. I'm Esperanza Walsh, and this is Art from the Heart at St. Augustine's Church. We're still doing our sessions remotely because of the COVID-19 pandemic lockdown, and today's topic is color blending, and we have a very exciting subject, very colorful one. It's a cockerel. So we will be sketching this cockerel first using guidelines, just simple geometric shapes, and then we are going to apply some paint on it. Okay, so let's start so you can see more on the different color blending style as applied to this art piece. Okay, so I have here my cockerel, and this is my clean sheet of paper. So in order to draw this, I would draw guidelines first. So the first guideline I will draw would be a triangle here, representing the legs. So it's an inverted triangle. Okay, please draw it as slightly as possible on your paper. I'm only trying to make it thicker so that you can see it, considering the resolution of my camera and the screen of the computer. So here, after drawing this inverted triangle, I am going to draw a circle. Okay, again, just one thin line would be enough. I'm just trying to make it thicker so you can see it better on your screen. And then from here, I will draw a triangle like so. And this triangle, okay, the base will not be equivalent to the diameter of the circle. It would actually be smaller. So that means it ends here at a higher area. And at the tip of the triangle, I'm going to draw a circle here and another triangle here. So again, basic shapes, inverted triangle, big circle, big triangle, small circle, small triangle. And then here where the triangle and the circle meets or within this area, I'm just going to draw a line going up. Now, the length of this line should be about the same as the length of this line. So like so, like so. So I've done that. And here, halfway from this point where the line touches the circle to where this triangle touches the circle, I'm going to draw a curve that ends on somewhere on this line. Okay, it could be at the end, it could be here, before the end, that is fine. Okay, now the legs, just a line here, one line, two lines. Okay, another line here, horizontal, and then a V here, and then another line. So these are just guidelines. Again, this is not the actual drawing or sketch that we will be using, but from this, we will be creating the sketch. And we will begin with the legs. So here, we begin this with this part. At the tip of the triangle, we draw a curve going this way. Okay, and when it touches the circle, we draw a curve. Same on the other side. When it touches the circle, we draw a curve, let it go up, like so. Like so again. Okay, now we will erase the guidelines here so that you can see exactly what has been drawn. So that has been drawn. And here we continue along this line. Well, not exactly along this line. Instead, we are going to make this slightly curved, so above the line. But the tip of the curved line, the end would still touch the tip of the triangle. So here, let me do that and let me erase these lines inside the cockerel. because we don't need those guidelines anymore. So here we just draw that curved line. And then from here, okay, we continue with the circle like so. And when we stop, when it hits the triangle, then we draw the triangle, create a small curve at the tip of that triangle. And that will make the beak look more realistic. So here now, I want to create this part of the wattle. So I am going to draw something like the shape of a circle, but made with the wavy lines. And then I am going to erase the other lines, other guidelines we no longer need. So again, curve here, tip slightly curved, and then it's like circle, like so. And then here, again, instead of drawing a straight line, like the guideline, it's slightly curved, like so. Okay, and we stop there for now. Let's go back here. So here at the center, we put a dot, and then we encircle that dot. And that will be the eyes. And then we draw this wattle. So here, starting from the beak, we follow the shape of the head with the wavy line. And then we start drawing the zigzag shape on top of the head of the cockerel. But the tip of the zigzag would always be curved. Okay, so like so. There's a white area here. Okay, and then now we go back to this area. So this area, we first draw a curved line and we stop at this big curve. Once the smaller curve touches the big curve, we stop there. Okay, and then from that point, we draw another curve. Like so. Again, we stop when it touches the big curve. Now from here, the next one. Okay, like so. And then next would be here. Okay, this one is going to extend a little bit like that. And now we can erase the guidelines here. So if you can see, this side is slightly different from the other side. Okay, this side, the sketch is open, so we don't have any lines here. And then we have this part open. Okay, and that would help us, that will make it easier for us to draw this feathers, which are just made of brush strokes. Now, let's work on the legs. So I'm drawing two parallel lines here. Two lines parallel to each other, like so. And then I am going to draw the feet, which is a curved line. There we go. And then also the bottom would be a bigger curved line. And then we have this nails at the end. Okay, so now let me erase all the guidelines here so you can see it clearer. So now we have the sketch of part of the foot here. And then we draw this other thing here. This is still part of the foot. Okay, to make it look more like that. Next, we will draw the other foot. So again, similar to the first one, we just draw two lines parallel to each other. And then we draw a curve or straight line here rather. And then at the bottom, a curve. Okay. And then here, we continue. On this other side, we draw a curve. And a curve at the bottom. And there's some webbing here. So we draw a curve to represent that webbing on the foot. Okay, there's some webbing, but it's not like that of a duck. So the webbing is just small. Okay, and then we draw the nails. Okay, and then here we draw one more of the toes. I would say toes. I don't know how we should call them because these are feet, so I assume they're also toes. And then here, there's this thing protruding on the leg. I don't know how that's called either, but it is there. So we have to draw it. Now, I am going to remove the guidelines and redraw that. Sorry. There we go. So now we are ready to paint. Yes, we're ready to paint. This is our sketch for our cockerel. And the first thing I'm going to do is to paint it with two shades of yellow. Now, if you don't have two shades of yellow, just use one. If you do have two, like what I'm using lemon yellow and yellow ochre. Use the lighter shade first. So I'm painting the feet. Again, this is part of the blending process. Okay, so that's fine. Then I'm painting part of the body. And the other part of the body, like so. And then the beak. Lovely. So I painted the beak. Um, yeah, so far, that's my lighter yellow shade. Now, I will use yellow ochre. And I'm going to paint the lower part of the legs or the feet with yellow ochre. Again, what you will be seeing would be more of a spectrum of yellow because the first layer of paint is still wet, so it's going to mix. So this is one type of blending. Here at the body. And let me lift some of the paint from the beak. So let me do that because the middle part of the beak should be lighter. Okay, we don't want to see any lines here in yellow. Okay, so we soften that with clean water. Fantastic. So we now have the yellow areas. The next color would be orange. So some of my students were asking if we should use yellow orange or orange yellow. I would, um, um, sorry, yellow orange or orange red. Well, I would recommend the darker one, and only for this particular art piece, because we would need to show uh, a darker shade. The yellow will just be more of like a base or an underpaint, though not exactly an underpaint, but similar to that. So I'm painting orange here as well around the eyes, and I will stop once it touches the beak. So again here, orange on this side. Okay, and I'm making it look softer. The transition of the color appears softer by adding water to it. And same here. because I don't want to see some orange lines. So there we go. Removing those orange lines. Well, some of those areas would be covered in black, but there would be some that won't. So um, to ensure that it would still appear as how we want it to appear, it's best to soften the transition. Okay, so now we have orange. Let me just add some more orange here. Oops. Yes, I'm adding a feather here. I will be adding some more colors to that feather later on. Fantastic. I am very happy so far. The next color would be burnt sienna. And for burnt sienna, I will be drawing some lines here in burnt sienna, which I will soften later on as well. Okay, we're now starting to show the brush strokes. Okay, fantastic. And then, of course, there would also be burnt sienna here. And possibly here as well. Okay, fantastic. Again, here I will be adding an extra feather, like so. And that is the layer. Oh no, that's not the layer of burnt sienna done because we forgot the webbing in the feet. My apologies for that. So again, webbing, the feet, lower part of the feet, the nails. We will be painting a lot of this with black later on, but it's the best to put the layers just in case um, there are areas where that the black paint doesn't cover. Okay, and again, as I was telling my students previously, there are lines here, horizontal lines. There we go. Okay, wonderful. And here as well. So this area. Okay, so now we need burnt umber. Okay, and for the burnt umber, it would be a little bit more than the burnt sienna. Let me get that. Okay. Okay. Oh, I missed something. I didn't paint the wattle. So before applying burnt umber, we will be applying red to the wattle first, and then we can directly apply the burnt umber on it afterwards. So just give me a moment. Let's do the red parts first. Okay, so I'm just mixing the paint, and so now I'm just painting the wattle with red. Lovely. fantastic. Look at that. It's beautiful. And here, the wattle here as well. I'm not sure if this one is also called the wattle, but it looks the same, just in a different area. So probably it is. And then a little bit of that around. Okay. And then I am going to rinse my brush, make sure it's clean. And then I'm going to lift a little bit of that paint, like so. And here as well. Do bear with me. I would like to stop in this area. So I think, oh yes, I'm sorry. This has to be red as well. Oh, that's much better. Okay, now it's time for burnt umber. And there we have burnt umber. And then I'm just going to put some burnt umber here in this area which is still wet. And we'll just let the paint spread by itself. Okay, here also on the side. And where else? Ah, here as well. Oh, fantastic. So we are now creating some texture with the brush strokes. Again, not everything has to be covered with paint, but it's important we see the brush stroke. Okay, fantastic. Now I think I put a little bit too much of burnt umber here. So I'm going to remove some of them. I lifted up using my brush. And then I am going to apply some burnt umber on the wattle. I'm sorry, on the beak. Here, like so. Okay, fantastic. We're doing very well. So now more burnt umber in this area, like so. So that's dry and dry, so that we can see the texture. Fantastic. That is so beautiful. Let me. Okay. And now I'm going to paint a little bit of green. Yes, a little bit of green, the darkest one you have. Okay, and I'm just going to just paint it like so, like highlight. And then here on this side as well. And of course, if I painted it on that side, it should be on this side as well. So that's my green. I won't paint anything else with green. Now it's time to paint it with blue. Okay, so similar to the green paint, I am going to paint it with blue here. So if the blue and green paint mixes naturally, that's fine. Not to worry. That would actually create a lot of character for this art piece. And here, there we go. Oh, fantastic. Okay, more in this area, but not as much as what we have put here in this area. Okay, so that's the tail. And of course, just like the green one, we are going to put some here, just a few lines. And here. Fantastic. So now it's time to paint it with black. But we're not going to paint it with pure black. We're going to dilute the black paint to make it more gray. And then we're going to paint small feathers here. Like so. And later on, we are going to paint a darker black over this. But this is to ensure that we get the texture that we want from the feathers. So now, oops, let me just get some more concentrated black paint. There we go. And we start painting here, this area. Fantastic. And here in this area as well. Okay, this feather, which is outside. Okay, and then here are some smaller feathers. Okay, so now we can paint this area and try to show brush strokes. Okay, we achieve the brush strokes if we're doing wet on dry or better yet dry on dry. And again, there will be areas which will be white. Just leave them as they are. And then later on, we will go back to the tail. Okay, but for now, we will focus on the body of the cockerel. And as we go up towards the head, the brush strokes would still be in the same direction, but thinner and shorter. Again, thinner and shorter. And here, we're going to put a drop of black paint on the center of the eye and around it. So we can see the eye. Of our cockerel. And then also here, the nose. More black paint here on the beak. And again here, a little bit of lines, some lines, thin lines. Let me just turn this around. Oh, fantastic. I am very happy. So now we go back to this tail here. So here I'm going to go back to this feather. And this feather. And this one. And then we will focus on the big feathers now. Okay, again, big brush strokes, just curves. Oh, that's fantastic. So again, just curves. And here slightly longer. And let's go back. And then I'm going to go back to the body. So I painted that. And again, more smaller brush strokes. Again, still in black. Because what we're creating now is just the texture of the feathers. Okay, let me turn it around. Oh, lovely. So now we finished painting black on the body. We have to work on the feet. So this part is really dark, the part that touches the ground, like so. Also on the other foot, again, the part that would touch the ground would be darker. And then I'll have those lines again. Okay, and now I just need a little bit of water to spread that a little bit. Okay. And then the same here on the other one. Okay. If it doesn't spread, we'll add some more paint. Because it would need to spread here. And the more natural the spread, the better. Okay. I think that's much better now. Fantastic. It's lovely. Now I need a little bit more black paint. Really dark this time for the nails. Because again, they touch the ground. Okay, fantastic. Wow, that is beautiful. Now, I need to make this area a little bit darker because of the balance. The colors are right, but the intensity of the colors are just too light. So just drop a little bit of black paint. So we'll darken a little bit. And we might be adding a little bit of red as well. Okay, I think this is working pretty well. And of course, this one. Oh, fantastic. Lovely. Okay, now all I need is the shadow. So for this one, I'm going to rinse my brush and I'm going to put really dilute black paint as my shadow. You can use paints gray or even blue or purple. So that's the shadow for my cockerel. Again, okay. Again, the topic is blending. And if you've noticed, we blended the colors in different ways. Some of them wet and wet, some wet and dry, some dry and wet, and some dry and dry. Okay, thank you very much. And I will see you next time for more color blending. Have a wonderful week. Bye-bye.